is 11 a.m. and we begin with some breaking news right now. The bomb squad has been called into downtown Denver where Molotov cocktails have been found along a sidewalk.
Denver 7's Lance Hernandez is on the scene now at 14th and Wilton. Lance, what have police out there told you so far?
Well, we know right now that some cleanup crews, people that work on the sidewalks here, empty some of the garbage cans downtown, found 6 bottles suspicious looking at the other end of the block. So they called Denver PD. They came in, checked out the bottles, said that the odor of the liquid inside is what concerned them. So they brought in the arson crew, which is part of the bomb squad, to come and deal with that. They removed the liquid from those bottles and placed them into those little buckets that you see on the sidewalk. No idea yet how dangerous that could have been had somebody made contact with it, broke the bottle, or, was smoking a cigarette around them. But we know that the issue has been neutralized. They've got this sidewalk blocked off at the corner of 14th and Welton. And as soon as that stuff is removed from those paint cans, they'll probably reopen those sidewalks. But again, it was a cleanup crew that found it. Police said that they were very suspicious, and it was the odor inside that concerned them. Reporting live in downtown Denver, Lance Hernandez, Denver 7.
More breaking news right now. A body has been found inside a burning apartment in North Glen, and officials are calling this fire suspicious. Detectives are looking for a 1999 navy blue Jeep Grand Cherokee with a Virginia license plate KMM 3665. If you have any information on that, call 911. Now, we do have a crew heading to the scene of that fire, and we'll bring you more details when we get them.
It was a joyous morning for Jeanette Vizguera. With support from her lawyers, friends, and family, she left sanctuary from a downtown Denver church. For months, the mother of 4 has been fighting deportation. She's made national news. ICE officials just issued her a temporary stay of removal. Denver 7 reporter Eric Lufer is live outside First Baptist Church right here in Denver. And that's where Vizguera spoke with the media earlier this morning. Eric.
Good morning. Vizguera, for the last 3 months, has sought refuge inside area churches. She says she may have conquered this hurdle, but the fight continues. We were there as she walked out of the First Baptist Church across from the state capitol at 8:30 this morning. Her kids by her side, 3 of which are already U.S. citizens. She came to the U.S. illegally 2 decades ago. She has 2 misdemeanors, and with the Trump administration's strong stance on illegal criminals, she felt her only option was to seek sanctuary. ICE's ruling on the temporary stay means she can stay in the U.S. until March of 2019.
Hoy es un día especial para mí.
It's a special day for me.
Porque voy a poder celebrar el Día de las Madres con mis hijos.
Because I will be able to celebrate Mother's Day with my children.
Now, another undocumented immigrant spoke today. His name, Arturo Hernandez Garcia. He's been fighting deportation too. He also was given a temporary stay of removal. That means he gets to watch his daughter graduate on Monday. I'm downtown. Eric Lufer, Denver 7.
Vizguera received help from a number of Colorado Democrats during her fight. Earlier this year, Republican Senator Cory Gardner also said his office would assist her in accordance with federal law. Now, we have reached out to Gardner and also to Republican Representative Mike Kaufman for reaction to today's announcement. We have not heard back yet.
We have some more breaking news we want to get to right now. A bicyclist has been hit by a car. This is near Holly and Yale. That intersection is closed down right now. No word when it will reopen. The biker was hospitalized with some pretty serious injuries. It is unclear, though, exactly what led up to that crash.
You can certainly see outside how nice and sunny it is out there right now.
Timing-wise, this was perfect. You know, it's spring. We're going to get severe weather, but when it doesn't have to happen on a weekend,
it's good for all those kids' sporting events.
I'm a happy person. Yeah. Take a look at your cheat sheet. Now, we are looking at a beautiful warm day today. It's going to be much warmer and drier than what we've seen this week. 70s and 80s expected through Sunday. No risk of severe weather, but we could see a few isolated storms pop up. You'll notice from this shot here at City Park, a few clouds starting to build up along the foothills. 1 or 2 very small isolated storms possible this afternoon. Here's what that looks like on Futurecast. You'll notice clear skies until about 4 o'clock, and then we're tracking 1 or 2 spotty showers popping up, and we could see 1 or 2 of these roll east over I-25. Likely it would be closer to the Palmer Divide, so from Castle Rock south down in through Larkspur, and then also east toward Lyman through the late afternoon, early evening. Not expecting much from it. Again, no real risk of any severe weather today. It's going to be pretty warm. We're expecting upper 70s, close to 80 degrees by 3 o'clock. So as you're planning out your afternoon and evening, weather not an issue. You're going to find some 60s between about 9 and 11. Now, the winds will pick up a bit. That's likely the biggest problem for us on this Friday. We'll talk more about that coming up. Jason, Boulder, today gorgeous, man. Perfect timing with graduation, but the road's always busy no matter what the weather's like.
Yeah, it was a madhouse on the westbound side of 36 right now. We do have a lot of people still in and around the town of Boulder, obviously around Folsom Field and in and around the campus. So just beware of extra traffic on 36 and in and around Boulder here today. We also will have a lot of folks in and around Fort Collins today and tomorrow for the different graduation ceremonies. Want to point out 2 big construction projects this weekend. One's already in place with 1 lane open north and southbound Broadway right here at Kentucky, right there, right by I-25. So if you need to access the light rail line there at Broadway, you'll have to use the north entrance, and that's going to be in place all weekend long. The other big one is going to be down here in the Denver Tech Center. It's the start of a huge project where they have 1 lane open later on tonight on Arapahoe Road, and then starting Monday, this little section of Yosemite on the south side will be closed for 10 days. Total closure. No way to get around it, unfortunately, unless you go all the way to Quebec and then down to Dry Creek. I'll keep you posted on that, of course, all weekend long, as well as next week when we're really into the heart of that construction.
Thanks, Jason. The hail that hit Colorado 4 days ago might only be now having a ripple effect on some travelers. Overnight Advantage Rent-A-Car near DIA blamed a shortage of cars on hail damage. A customer told Denver 7 that she and about a dozen others were left stranded for hours overnight waiting for cars. Apparently, hail damage wasn't the only problem.
They gave us hail damage from the storm. We said, well, you have cars in your lot. Well, some of them don't have current tags. Some of them, the batteries are bad. Some of them we don't have keys for.
The National Weather Service didn't record any significant hail on the airport or in that area on Monday. Advantage, meanwhile, advises people to book directly through the company's website so they can get alerts about any issues with cars. An overnight shooting leaves 1 person dead and another in critical condition right outside of an office building in Aurora. Witnesses said they heard up to 5 shots in the parking lot of the Hancock office. This is near Chambers in Hamden. Police found the body of a man at the scene and then discovered another person who had been shot in the front yard of a home on South Granby Street. He was taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. The victims are both connected to the same shooting. No arrests have been made yet.
Happening this morning, the first of what will likely be many lawsuits filed against an oil and gas company, all in connection to this deadly house explosion in Firestone. A homeowner is suing Anadarko, the company that owns the nearby well that leaked gas into the home, triggering that blast. Neighbors are suing for negligence, and attorneys say there is serious emotional trauma and anxiety following that explosion. Some are also worried about their property value after this tragedy.
Days later, we're considering the value of our home, if the value of our home is going to go down.
More than 30 other homeowners are expected to file lawsuits in this case. Flash flooding in southern Colorado has put the town of Beulah on disaster watch. The National Guard was called in to rescue several people. The waters there still not receding in Pueblo County. The storm hit probably the worst place possible. It drenched a burn scar left by last summer's wildfires.
We are now getting a look at the rules the Mile High City is laying out for social pot clubs. Businesses that want to allow people to smoke marijuana inside will have some limitations. First off, they cannot serve alcohol. If they have a liquor license, then they'll have to suspend it during any event where pot is being consumed. Patrons will also have to sign a waiver, and businesses will need to apply for a permit. Mutiny Information Cafe plans to be one of the first businesses to apply.
I'm more than prepared to make sure that everything's, followed right to the letter of the law.
And there will be a hearing in June about the new regulations. We expect businesses to be able to start applying in July.
President Trump's latest tweets are now raising even more questions about the Russia investigation, James Comey's firing, and possible obstructions of justice. ABC's Londa Zach is following all the developments out of this story coming out of Washington.
The president is taking the Comey firing to another level today in a tweet storm appearing to threaten the former FBI director, writing, "James Comey better hope there are no tapes of our conversations before he starts leaking to the press." Previously, the president on NBC said Comey had told him 3 times he was not under investigation.
I said, if it's possible, would you let me know am I under investigation? He said, you are not under investigation.
But today's tweet sounds to many like a threat to Comey not to contradict the president's account. Here's Democratic Senator Dick Durbin responding on Morning Joe.
President Trump is dangerous. Dangerous because he may be obstructing justice in terms of the investigation that really goes to the heart of our democracy, the accountability of the president.
At issue, the ongoing Russia investigation that Comey was overseeing. The White House had offered conflicting reports for the impetus of the decision to fire Comey, but insisted it had nothing to do with that investigation. But then on NBC News, the president said Russia was on his mind.
When I decided to just do it, I said to myself, I said, you know, this Russia thing with Trump and Russia is a made-up story.
But the president also insists he wants the investigation to continue.
Among the president's other tweets on this topic, he said he's very active as a president, so it's not possible for his staff to answer questions with, quote, perfect accuracy. And then in a subsequent tweet, he threatened to cancel all future press briefings. Lana Zach, ABC News, Washington.
We have some new developments this morning on the Amtrak crash that killed 8 people back in 2015.
Coming up, why the train engineer will not be charged and what a judge is now saying about the tragedy.
And it was a travel nightmare for some passengers on board a United flight. No, this was not a fight or even an overbooked flight. What was seen coming out of a traveler's clothes that forced them to evacuate the plane?